Hi, my name is Madam Pamita, and this is Madam Pamita's Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about cut and clear spells. Cut and clear spells are used when you want to release an attachment to a person. For example, if you've had a relationship that's ended, but you still feel attached and longing for that person, even though the two of you can't be together, then a cut and clear spell is the perfect thing to use. You can also use it for non-romantic situations. For example, friendships that have broken up and you want to detach from that friend and let that person go, release that person, and be able to move on. Cut and clear spells don't hurt the other person, they don't harm anyone, but they just allow you to cut the ties that keep you attached to that person and block you from moving forward in your life. So here's what I am going to show you today, cut and clear spell. Here's what you need for it. You need a piece of paper, you need a pen, you need oils. Cut and clear oil is very good for this, and also an oil for a new relationship. Attraction can be used to attract new love, new friends. You need a piece of aluminum foil, you need some candle holders, and a couple of candles. I recommend using a release and restore candle for letting go, and then a new romance candle if what you're asking for is a new romantic relationship. The other sort of tools that you'll need for this as well are a pen, some matches, a knife or nail or some writing implement that you can scratch in the wax, and then a candle snuffer for when you want to snuff out your candle. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is work with your petition paper. In this case, the petition paper is a big 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You're going to take that piece of paper and fold it in half. Then you're going to write two lists, one on each half of the paper. On the left side of the paper, you're going to write the things that you do not want in a relationship. You're going to write a list of the things about that relationship that were hurtful, or the things that you just don't want to experience again. So, for example, you could write unfaithfulness, or you could write anger, jealousy, anything that you don't want in that relationship going forward, and that was a part of that relationship. You can also add to it anything else that you don't want in a relationship that may not have been a part of that relationship that you experienced. So you may not want flakiness or stinginess, even if they were something that you didn't experience in your relationship. Now on the right side of the paper, you're going to start to write the things that were good about that relationship. You were friends or lovers with that person for a reason, so they did have some good qualities. So you would write, made me laugh, great lover, lots of fun, etc., etc. You can also add to that list anything else that you want in a relationship going forward. Now once you have that paper with those two lists on it, you're going to tear that piece of paper in half and make those two lists separate. So the list that you made on the left of the things that you don't want, you're going to burn. Get a piece of oil and get that paper and get your matches out. As you light that paper, you say, I will never have a relationship with these qualities again. The reason you're burning it over the foil is that you're going to want to drop it at some point, and then you're going to want to take the ashes of that and dispose of them. Once those ashes have burned completely, you're going to take that piece of foil and fold it away from you, symbolically sending those things away from you. Be careful not to put your fingers on the part where the ashes are, in case they're still hot. You're going to turn it to the left and again fold that packet away from you. And you can fold it left again. and fold it away from you. Now this foil packet, you're going to take that out to a crossroads and leave it in the middle of a crossroads. Crossroads is any intersection where two roads cross. You walk out there, you take it there, you drop it, you turn around, and you don't look back. You're leaving it to go in the 4 directions when you're leaving it at a crossroads. Once you've done that, when you come back to your home or the place that you're doing the spell, you want to do a release and restore candle to seal that work. And so you get a candle to let go. You can dress that candle with cut and clear oil. So you take a couple drops. And you put it on your hands. And you apply it to that candle in a downward motion. If you like, you can also use a knife or some other implement to scratch your name and the other person's name, release me from this person, or whatever intention you're wanting. You want to write it in a downward motion, meaning you want to write it from the wick going down to the base. So just make sure you're writing in that direction. Then you can take and put that candle in a candle holder and light it for your intention. If you like, you can pray or speak your intention as you're lighting it. I wish to be released from the ties that bind me to John Jones. Now you leave that candle lit whenever you're at home and you're awake. When you go to sleep at night, you want to snuff that candle out with a snuffer. You can use a shot glass or you can use a snuffer that's specifically for that purpose. You can also use cut and clear oil on yourself. Put a couple drops on your hands and put it on yourself going in a downward motion anytime you start to think about that person. So it's good to carry it with you so that if you start to feel attached to that person, you break that cycle of attachment by putting that oil on you on a downward motion as if you're brushing that person and that attachment off you. Once this candle has completely burned, you're going to burn it, as I said, whenever you're awake and you're at home. Once the candle has burned completely, then you're ready to do the next part, which is inviting new love in. So for that, you're going to take that piece of paper that is the list of the things that you do want in a relationship. And you're going to fold that piece of paper toward you, turn it to the right, and fold it toward you again until it's small enough to fit underneath the candle holder. You take a candle for new relationship, such as a new romance candle. You can inscribe bring me my soulmate, for example, or whatever it is that you're wanting, using a knife or another writing implement in the candle. Then you can dress that candle with an oil for bringing in new love. For example, you can use attraction oil. This time, you're going to put the oil going in an upward motion. Put that candle in the candle holder and place that petition underneath your candle. Then you light that candle for new romance, saying, may my new love, my soulmate, my perfect partner come to me. Okay? Whatever it is that you want, whatever prayers that you want. And that's a complete cut and clear spell where you release and let go, you find closure, and then you invite new love to come into your life. With this candle, again, you want to burn it when you are at home and when you're awake. When you go to sleep at night or you leave the house, you snuff the candle out. This is Madame Pamita's Parlor of Wonders. I'm Madame Pamita. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com.